Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Indian.net in which we are going to discuss about AWS Translate. So you already aware of different AWS services which we have gone through so far. We have gone through AWS Poly, AWS Transcribe, and this is one of the interesting service which is AWS Translate. Okay, so by the name you are already aware like what exactly this service would be, but let me give a quick agenda what we are going to discuss in this session. So without wasting any time, jump into agenda. So we are going to discuss about AWS Translate. Okay, then second thing which we are going to discuss about the pricing, then use cases, and then example in our favorite language, which is C Sharp. Okay, so without wasting time, let's jump into the AWS Translate. So basically, AWS Translate, if you by the name you can understand, like it is translating something, translating text in of one language into another language. Okay, so suppose you are given a text in English language, and if you want that text should be converted in English, Hindi, and Spanish or French, so that can be doable through AWS Translate. And how it is doing that? So it is providing you robust advanced machine learning technology which it is using AWS translate services, and these services provide you the way to translate that object or the text or sentence. So basically, why if you think about like for example, you are working for a multinational company where you have different uh, countries employee, different countries customer and partners in your organization, but there is a gap, a gap in their communication, and the gap is just because it might be possible some people might be talking in Hindi, some people are native English speakers, some people are native uh, uh, Marathi speakers. So there is a lot of challenges and gaps in the communications. So that communication gap might slow down your innovation and growth. To reduce or address this problem, AWS come up in the picture actually. So now you might be thinking, why we require this? Because it can be done through a manual way as well. So yeah, you are right. There are possibility like if someone is talking or sending you a text, you can convert it manually, but that manual process is very lengthy. Firstly, it is expensive because you need to hire someone for a full day or something like that. Then it is time consuming because it would read everything and then convert. Then it is like highly dependable on that person. If he is not coming, then it might be possible your translation could not be done on that day. But when you talk about AWS Translate service, so it's a web API used, which is using advanced machine learning technology, due to which AWS promise high quality translation. And believe me, this is like the if we talk about the latency related stuff, so it is very fast. Okay, the other thing is like, for example, uh, for the manual translator, you might need to say, okay, this is you need to convert, you need to basically you need to provide what is source language, and then he will convert it to your desired target language. But here in the AWS, you do not need to make like if you are not aware of the source language, do not need to worry about that. AWS Translate will handle it. Now, how you can do these translations? So this translation can be done either in batches. You provide the files which you stored in S3 bucket or somewhere, and then uh, AWS Translate service convert that particular file into your desired language, or you can do it real runtime. You're typing, or you're uh, typing and it converting that text into desired language. So that is quite possible. Now the good thing is that all about this is like for a specifically, if you target about the manual work, you might need 8 or 10 different language speakers. So in AWS Translate, you just need one service, okay, which is a combination of 5,500 different translation combinations, means Hindi to English, Hindi to Spanish, Hindi to French. So this is all can be done through one single service with the same code, with the same pattern, okay. Then it support 70 plus language, okay. So you do not need to like struggle in which language you want. So it almost cover all the popular language, and then 70 plus language is a huge number. And you can uh, understand the combination different 70 language 70 plus language combination, which I already spoke about, is 5,500 plus combinations are there. So it can be easily like translate any language. Then these services are mostly you can say 100% secure service, because it's run on as SSL, okay, secure services. And the other thing which I already shared, like there is a feature to auto detect the language, so you do not need to provide if you are not aware what language uh, that particular languages, so not to worry about that, because AWS Translate service automatically detect the language, okay. Now moving forward, let's understand the use cases, because see, until unless we are not aware uh, why to use it, that would be a challenge. So why, when, where, those w question is our favorite as a developer. So you need to uh, aware of those w questions. So we understood what is AWS Translate service. Now we understood what it does, but now the question is where we can use it, or what are the different use cases. So let's understand, although I'm pretty much sure uh, after listening like this AWS Translate service, like, which is converting the text into different language, you already have the several things in your mind, or several example where you can fit. For example, if you are doing the Duolingo, or might be some Babel learning language, so that there also you can utilize it. But let's see what are the other things. So the first thing, which is we can say translate interpersonal communication channel. So for example, like if you are talking about emails which is coming from your customers, or in the game chat, in the game uh, in the like Roblox, or might be there are different games are available. In the chat also you can use this translate service. Then customer services, especially where people are chatting with your customer representative in a different language, for example Chinese or something. So but your customer representative is native language is English or Hindi, so they can easily understand what customer is asking. So that you can utilize. Then employee can connect of process, like whatever the process is, incoming data is coming, they can process it in their different language. And then for example, for if people are like text putting text on Twitter, we can say Twitter or Facebook about your company, you just grab those texts, whether it's in in any language, then AWS Translate will convert those capture text into your desired language. So that is quite possible. And then, for example, you want to understand the sentiment analysis of your company's post and anything. So whether in any different language, you can convert into English and then send it to uh, AWS different services to analyze the sentiment of that sentiment of text. Then uh, the other thing which I mentioned, like enable integration with other services. For example, we already discussed about AWS Poly, AWS Transcribe, and there are many more services which are available, S3. So you can connect this AWS Translate service seamlessly with this or all the AWS services. Not only AWS services, but you can connect with any other services as well, like for example your database on some FTP location, so files on an FTP location or some Azure location, then also you can utilize it. Okay, so this is one of the thing. Then for example, you want your site to convert into multilingual, so with the help of AWS Translate, you can convert into any 70 plus language. So that is one of the benefit. Then translate the news feeds, as I mentioned, like differently news are coming in different languages, and you want to capture all those news in your native language, either it's Hindi, English, Spanish, then you can utilize that. Okay, so now going further, let me firstly show you how it can be access. So you just go to Google and just search for AWS Translate. Okay. So once you click on this AWS Translate, you will find this machine learning translation service. Just click on this. So here you will see this AWS Translate page, and it is already mentioning couple of things and specific how it is working, the structure. So that we will see, because that would be in the detailed plan when we are going to discuss deep dive into AWS Translate or Poly services. Then I will showcase you how and this entirely working. But for current time being, let's uh, assume we are on just going for understanding purpose. So once, for any AWS Translate service, I repeated in my previous videos as well, you just create a free account. Suppose you want to learn AWS, please feel free to create uh, a, a free account with AWS, which would be available for 12 months, and it is more than enough to do hands-on. Okay, so once you search it, you need to click here, get started with Amazon Translate. But before that, you need to create the account. Once you created the account, here in the console, you just search for Translate. Okay, so you will find this Amazon Translate. Just click over here, you'll find this screen. Now suppose I write here, hi. No, sorry, I forgot to change here. Let me change it to Spanish. Okay, so you can see here whatever I am writing in here at runtime, it is converting into Spanish language. So I say, hi, I'm Rajat Jaiswal. So Spanish is selling hola, so Raj Jaiswal. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? So, and you can convert in any language. These are the variety of language provided by uh, AWS services. You can go and try it, and then there are different options also available, which we will discuss going forward. But in nutshell, you have a lot of control on this particular API that you want to like filter some of the text or something like that, then you can do it. Then it might be possible there are some custom um, uh, phrases you want to change, that also could can be possible. Now, so you understand in the as a basic note what is AWS Translate and how to use it at runtime. And I will show you the demo as well, but for your reference, you can see like whatever we are writing, it is converting into desired language. So far so good. Now let's move to the another topic which we mentioned here, and then the next topic which we are going to discuss about the pricing. Okay, so because this is also one of the important aspect whenever we are selecting any tool web APIs, so we should be aware of what is the pricing. So as we discussed in previous sessions as well, there is always a free tier. You try to utilize that. The free tier itself giving you a huge number of character per month, which it can be translated. Okay, so if you want, just again go for the AWS Translate, and then search for the price. In the price, as I mentioned, get free, get it started for free, that can be done. So with the free tier you are getting like the 2 million character per month for 12 month. So so you can understand it's a huge million characters is a huge amount which you converted free of cost. But if you want like going forward after a year, or might be if you want, you can convert it to standard translation where the bill is like $15 per million character. Okay, so along with that there is a active custom translation, so which we mentioned like if you want anything like the custom character translation, that can also be done. And for this the pricing is $60 per million character, and there are a lot of things is defined over here which you can go through whenever you are going to use it. But for current timing, if you are not have any active account, just go for free tier account, it's highly recommendable. Okay, so we are good with the pricing prospects. Now the next thing which is always our favorite is the demo. And for the demo we are using our favorite language which is C#.net. Okay, so I for because the session is like 30 to 45 minutes most of the time, so I already created the code, but I will walk you through how you can create your own code. Or I'm going to share this with the Git as well, so you can check with Indian.net GitHub library, and you can download this AWS related code. So first thing which you required if you're new to the .NET, so it is first of all this is a console application. Okay, and whether it's a console web or anything Windows application, you just go and click on the manage NuGet package. Here you need to search AWS as SDK translate. Okay, so you will find this AWS translate. Okay, because I already installed, so that's why it's saying like update or uninstall. But if I am doing it first time, it's showing me install it. Okay, because so if you see here I already installed it. So with the AWS translate, mostly whenever you are uh, like downloading any means installing any AWS SDK dot translate or dot transcribe dot poly, AWS SDK is by default added. Okay, so now what we are doing here, we are creating uh, one program which is going to translate. So here we are, what we are going to do, we are saying, okay, translate this text and translate in the target language. We are not giving it the source language, because we are saying this service to auto detect whether you are giving that text into Hindi or English or Spanish, doesn't matter, because AWS Translate service automatically detect that language. So we are giving it auto. Now what we did actually, so similar ways which we created earlier for poly or transcribe, the structure button I am keeping as is for all my demos. So if you understand one part of the code, one service code, then you do not need to worry, because my code is always would be same for all the services. So we are calling this translate function, and this is our main function. So first thing which we required, because we are going to access uh, a third party service which is AWS API, translate API. So the first thing which we required to create credentials. So access key and secret key. I already showing this, but in generally in when you develop the enterprise related application, there are different ways to hide it. But for the sake of this interview, to make it simple, I am showing it, okay, as is. So and now you might be asking, okay, Rajat, this is good, but how to create, or how can I access this access key? So what you need to do, you just go here and search for IAM. Okay, click on IAM option, which is identity access management. Go to users, create a new user, because I already added a user. So I am just clicking Indian.NET Translate demo. Once you added it, add a permission. So any service, like earlier you saw, like given the permission for poly transcribe, and here we are going to give permission for translate. Once this is done, go to security credential, okay, and here you can create a access key, because I already created. So this is the access key which I created. So it is showing over here. But if I want to create new one, I can just click on the create access key, and a new access key would be created, which we can use over here. So you need to provide this access key, that access secret key, because my by default region is US East one. So I given the US East one region, and now I created an object of basic AWS credential, in which I am passing AWS access key ID and AWS secret key ID. So far so good. I hope you understand and there is no questions till now. But if you have any question in the middle, please feel free to ask. Okay. Now here what I am going to do, I am creating a client object for this AWS Translate client. And after creating this object, I'm what I'm doing here, I am creating a translate request. So in this translate request, I am passing the parameter like what target language you required. Okay, what is your source language code? So as I mentioned, AWS is uh, uh, we can say uh, intelligent enough to determine what is the language. So that's why I given it auto, means it automatically detect the language. The next thing is which text you need to convert, translate. So this is the text which we need to provide. So here what I have provided in translate text: hello, my name is Rajat and I am from Indian.NET community. So this is what I am passing here. Okay, so text to translate, this is what I am passing. Output language means in which language I need to translate this text. So I need to translate in French. Okay, so there are different options, but currently I am using the French. Once this is done, now we need to call this translate text asynchronous function, which is taking the object of request, means which this particular request which we created. So once this request is we provided to this client's function, it will give in the response the translated value. And what would be the translated value? The translated value would be this particular text in French. Okay, so we are just uh, what we are doing here, we are just showing that translated value. So without wasting any time, let's try to run it. Okay, so it is coming on my another. So as a console, if you see over here, I hope it is quite visible. Oh, sorry, I by mistake I just a moment. Where is my console? Just a moment. Actually, I'm increasing the font so you people can easily see here. So source language which we provided in English. What text which we provided? Hello, my name is Rajat and I'm from Indian.NET community. The target language which we are given is a French. And in French, how to convert this? So this can be written as Bonjour, je m'appelle je m'appelle Rajat Jaiswal, JVN de la communauté Indian.NET. So in nutshell, whatever we have given, it is converted and we are good with it. So I hope this small demo give you a glimpse of AWS Translate language and you can utilize in your day-to-day life. Uh, so we will connect next Friday with another interesting service. Till then, thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye bye.